I'm Carla Hinton, reporting for the Oklahoman and NewsOK.com. I'm here in the studio with the Reverend Lee Cooper, Jr. He is pastor of Prospect Missionary Baptist Church. Thank you for coming.
Hello.
And I also have with me the Reverend Douglas Miles, Bishop of Cornonia Baptist Church in Baltimore. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure to be here.
Now, Bishop Miles is a well-known spiritual leader in the Baltimore area, and he's also known as a longtime civil rights advocate. He's visiting the metro area as a featured speaker at the Voices Organized in Civic Engagement Revival that begins tonight, Thursday, August 6th, and continues through Saturday, August 8th at Prospect Missionary Baptist Church in Oklahoma City, which is led by Pastor Cooper. Bishop Miles also will be leading a workshop for clergy and leaders Friday and Saturday at Prospect. Thank you for being here today again.
Thank you for having us, Carla. We really appreciate it.
Okay. Well, Pastor Cooper, you were going to tell me a little bit about Voices and then also about what you hope to accomplish through the revival and the clergy workshop.
Yes. Voices has been organized in our community of really about 30 churches that have come together to really be active advocates for issues that are in the life of our city.
Okay.
And those congregations are many denominations. It's an interfaith organization. We're seeking through this revival to really target some areas of concern, particularly in the African American community. Okay. But everyone's invited to come and share and participate. On Friday, in addition to the revival that is going on at 7 o'clock each night, there's also a workshop that is happening on Friday that we're inviting all of the clergy of Oklahoma City to come and participate and to share. It's an interfaith event, so everyone is invited to come as pastors, leaders of churches, synagogues, or mosques. And so it is going to be an interesting time with Bishop Miles to talk a little bit about some of the issues that we're confronted with, and then the challenge to confront the church to be actively involved and engaged. On Saturday from 10 to 1 is an opportunity for everyone, lay people, anyone from the community who would like to come and share, welcome to come and share. It's an excellent forum for us to begin the conversation about what needs to be done in our community and how to approach it with the strategies that have been learned through the years of advocacy that Bishop Miles brings to the table. So he'll be leading those workshops. Okay,
good. All right. Well, thank you for that, Pastor Cooper. Now I'm going to talk to Bishop Miles. I have just a couple of questions for you. Tell me, what message or messages do you hope to convey during the revival that you're going to speak?
First of all, the message that in the revival will be to particularly the African American community and church to step up to the plate and to recognize the places where we have failed and where God is calling us to be in the 21st century. Beyond that, the workshop will deal with leadership development. And you mentioned I'm a civil rights advocate. I'm not a civil rights advocate. I'm a preacher with a prophetic and evangelical call.
Okay.
And I don't believe in advocating for. We teach advocating with.
Okay.
In other words, that issues ought to come from the people that are being impacted, because in that way they have more of a buy-in, because people tend to operate out of their own self-interest.
Okay, interesting. Okay. Well, tell me, why do you think this is an important concept, what you were just talking about? Why do you think it's important to share this right now at this particular time?
Basically because our society has literally lost its center, and the freest institution in society is still the church, and the need for the church to help organize for power, which often is looked upon as a dirty word in many Christian circles.
Right.
But power just simply means the ability to do. And so we teach people how to organize in their own self-interest around issues that are pertinent to them to get the power necessary to create change, because no change occurs without pressure.
Interesting. Tell me a little bit about your work in Baltimore. I know you are a bishop, and I also understand that you have been a leader for an advocacy group called BUILD, Baltimoreans United in Leadership Development. What have you been doing there in Baltimore?
Yes, I'm the immediate clergy co-chair emeritus. I've been with BUILD and IF organizations for the past 34 years.
Okay.
In Baltimore right now, we're central to helping to bring the city back together since the Freddie Gray uprising. We don't call it a riot.
Okay.
And helping the city navigate its way through that, and in terms of building a long-term strategy to address the ills that beset our community.
Okay, interesting. And this is a question for both of you, and this just came to me. When you talk about issues affecting the Black community, you hope to talk about those. Name one or two that you hope to talk about during the revival or the workshop, or maybe one or two issues that you think are going to come from the public who attends this event.
I think there are several local concerns that we're really dealing with. One is education.
Okay.
And how we really need to reform and impact education in a way that serves our community. And so when you look at the statistics, many of our schools are failing, and we really need to address how to make schools work for our kids. Okay. So that would be one issue. Okay. There's always the issue of criminal justice and how to look at prison reform, and then how policing is done in our communities. Those are issues that constantly confront us. I think in addition to that, there's the concern for jobs in our community, and how to get people back to work. And so those kinds of issues will be addressed. But then what is even more interesting is to have the community to say, what is it that you're really concerned about, and bring those things to the forefront.
Okay.
Bishop, you can help us with that.
And I think it needs to be emphasized that these aren't just Black issues. They're issues of people without power.
Okay.
In Baltimore, we did what we call a series of house meetings with young people from the most affluent neighborhoods to the most distressed neighborhood. Okay. And the same messages came out of both ends of the spectrum and the middle. Okay. That young people feel that they're not valued in this society. They want opportunities for after school and out of school activities that are guided and protected. They want opportunities for affordable housing, and they want jobs that pay living wages. So that's something that stretches across racial lines. And I think that that's what's unique about Voice here in Oklahoma City and Build in Baltimore, is that we're not just a Black organization. Okay. We're a diverse organization, and one of the few places in both cities where people of all colors and economic status sit down and talk together about the issues that are common to them.
Okay, interesting. Now, I wanted to ask you before we move on to the end of this segment, how are things going in Baltimore in the aftermath of the Freddie Gray incident?
Well, right now we're going through a pretty rough time because the Freddie Gray incident produced for our city a backlash from the police. They literally stopped policing. And the criminal element of Baltimore has taken control of the streets literally. We had 45 murders in the month of July alone. 192 murders thus far this year. And so now the first thing that we're focusing on is making the community safe again. But beyond that, we've created what's called the One Baltimore strategy that will be an attempt to create a 40 to 50 year strategy to address the ills in Baltimore that the larger community became aware of with the Freddie Gray uprising.
Okay, interesting. Thank you so much for coming and sharing this information.
My pleasure to be here.
Thank you, Pastor Cooper.
Thank you so much, Carla.
Well, I wanted to say again, the Voice Revival featuring Bishop Miles is set for 7 p.m. tonight, Thursday, August 6th at Prospect Missionary Baptist Church at 2809 North Missouri. And the revival continues at 7 p.m. Friday and Saturday. There's also a clergy workshop, and then also a leadership workshop that will be Friday and Saturday at the church. This is Carla Hinton reporting for The Oklahoman and NewsOK.com. For more information, read The Oklahoman and go on NewsOK.com.